Today I will take apart this Sphero Mini toy robot. I'm taking this apart because I do not really have a use for this, as the app is very simple and only allows you to remotely control the device and has some basic programming functions. There isn't really any sensors or ways to expand this, and the projects I've done with Raspberry Pi, even the simple ones such as my light bulb experiment, are more complicated than this. It is held in this dome, and inside it contains this robot with 2 drive wheels and then 2 other wheels, such that it can roll around in this shell so that it can then rotate the shell to drive. I can already see an antenna, some screws, and a charging port. So let's take a look inside of this. I'll start by removing the 2 screws on the top. A bit more. Alright, now I have removed the top and we can see the circuit. Immediately we can see some chips on the top next to the USB port. See a couple what looks like transistors, the Bluetooth antenna, an LED, an RGB LED with a control chip inside of it, which is interesting. The LED used for aim to set the orientation initially, and some other components. But now let's remove these screws, being careful not to short anything because there is a battery in this. I did make sure the battery was low before starting this, but still, the battery can hold significant amounts of energy. Let's try and be sort of careful. Here's the battery. It actually plugs to a connector. That's a nice addition. And then there are connectors that go down, probably for the drive motors. And then on the back side of the board, there is more. There's an N52832, which I think is the microcontroller with Bluetooth support. Some additional transistors, diodes, possibly a motor driver chip, crystal oscillator, some inductors, capacitors, and resistors. Alright, here's the battery. 3.7 volt, 160 milliamp hours with what looks like a built-in protection circuit. In this part, there are 4 screws. There are 2 connectors that look to go to the motors, and then something here, which I think that's where the battery connector was. Let's try a different screwdriver. And now we can pull this apart, hopefully. Is there like an insert? Or does it separate here? Looks to separate here. So then, oh, okay, gotta be careful. Now, we can see the 2 motors, which are these tiny brushed DC motors, each with their connector, each running some gears to reduce the speed before it reaches the drive wheels, as these tiny DC brushed motors are very high RPM, I think. It appears that the wheel assembly is on one central shaft, but each wheel can rotate independently. Now I just put this top cover together. Oh, now this runs terribly, but that's expected. Then on the bottom there is this weight held in with just 1 screw. This is tied to something else. Yep. It's just a weight to keep the center of mass low, so it rolls in the enclosure. And as usual with anything containing gears, when it comes apart, it doesn't go back together quite right. But anyways, this is what is inside of a Sphero Mini robot. Inside of it, everything is mostly on this one circuit board, but there still is additional components for the motors and the battery. Interestingly, there does not seem to be any sort of position feedback of sorts, like an encoder or something for the motors. But anyways, make sure to subscribe for more videos.